Okay, good afternoon, everybody. My name is Alejandro Esparza. This will be my second edition. I am very excited to be here. We are in Lone Star National Park on Huntington. It is in Paisanos Parkway here in beautiful San Antonio, Texas. I am here with Matt Dang. I will tell the title here in a little bit. He will, but this is his bank, and he is over mortgage lending focusing on VA. I am a veteran. I am here to support veterans. So what we're going to do is we're going to discuss, different options and things that are offered for veterans. I am a real estate agent. I have been doing it for a while. I did 5 years in the military. I did 2 years as law enforcement. I love public service. I love caring for the people that care for us. And we're here to talk about Matt. So
Thank you, Alejandro, for the introduction. My name is Matthew Dang. I'm the Senior Vice President of our mortgage division here at Lone Star National Bank. I've been a banker for 31 years, so mortgage lending is my passion. But most of all, it's really to me, and the reason why I do what I do and have been doing for the last 31 years is to really help our community, our veteran community, and really help uplift our not only our community but our veteran community. For me, my dad was a military police during the Vietnam War. He worked for the U.S. Embassy in Vietnam. And so I have a passion for our military veterans, and I want to be able to help them as much as I can. Thinking back at the sacrifice my dad he had to serve, and the sacrifice he had our family, and so I want to bring that forward and ensure that we take care of as many veterans as we can. Within Lone Star National Bank, we have a lot of great products. Of course, from a mortgage perspective, we do VA loans, but we also have other programs that can really help veterans get into a house. We have what we call our HELP program, where we, depending on if you qualify based on the requirements, we could actually help provide $25,000 in grant money towards the down payment or closing costs to get into a house. So it's a terrific program, but there are requirements. So if a veteran's interested, we can certainly sit down and talk about that and see if we can qualify if a veteran is interested in getting into a home. That is that I'm mainly focusing on is really helping to uplift the community through our products and services, but not just through our mortgage. We have great products within our lending institution. We have great retail products, checking, savings accounts. We provide wealth management services. We help small business. We're really a community bank, and so we have all the services to help our community to grow. And so, super excited to be here with you today, and we'll go from there.
it's a great day.
Yeah,
It's a great
yeah.
day. So talking about your dad and his service at the embassy, I'm not very knowledgeable on Vietnam's geography. Was it in Saigon? Is that where it was?
Yes, it was in Saigon. He served as the military for the embassy, the military police for a number of years. As long as I can remember. That was my dad. That was his passion. He loved his job, and he was able to serve. And of course, the Vietnam War it lasted a long time, but that's why I have such a passion for military veterans.
Okay. So was he with the United States military or was he with the Vietnamese?
He was with the South Vietnamese, serving for the U.S. Government.
Okay.
So he was actually military police for the actual U.S. Embassy.
Okay.
But,
So
yeah.
whenever you came stateside,
Mhm.
did he did he join the United States military? Did he do something different?
He did not. So we were refugees of the Vietnam War. As serving with the U.S. Is it obviously was can put us in harm's way without going into too much detail.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So you know we were lucky enough to be able to leave during the fall of Saigon, and was able to come to the United States. But no, he did not serve when he came over to the United States.
The day Saigon fell, was that the day that y'all immigrated over? Was it before? Was it after?
Well, there was it's I'm glad you mentioned that. So there's an actual documentary called Last Days in Vietnam,
Okay.
and that's actually basically about our what happened to us during the fall of Saigon. And so there was a secret rendezvous that happened where we were able, because my dad served for the U.S. Embassy, the U.S. Was able to get my entire family out. Actually, we basically dropped everything that we had. My youngest brother was about 2 weeks old,
Okay.
and
How old were you?
I was four.
Okay.
We had it was my mom and six kids. I remember the day my father came home, still in his military uniform, and says, "We have to go." And we left our house and everything behind with just the clothes. I didn't have shoes.
Really?
Yeah, I didn't have shoes at that time. It was immediate evacuation, and the U.S. Army took us and helped our family evacuate. And so, even though you're 4 years old, I remember everything
Did
during
you,
that time.
when you left, did you leave on like a military aircraft? Was it like a chartered aircraft?
We went through a lot of different places. We lived in tents
Okay.
on a beach
Okay.
in,
Oh, nice.
in Guam.
Okay.
We went to the Philippines, and then through that process, we ended up in Fort Chaffee, Arkansas.
Wow.
Yeah, and we
That's
stayed.
a big difference.
Yeah, and we stayed in the.
Arkansas. Is it like in the pine woods? Or are you talking about like, is it real, like, I've never really been to Arkansas. So is it kind of be like the swampy area, kind of like Louisiana, or is it more like dry arid?
I think honestly, I don't remember because I just remember it was very strange, and I just remember army people everywhere.
Okay.
It was on Fort Chaffee on the military base,
Okay.
and so we and tens of thousands of Vietnamese refugees stayed there until we were sponsored by a family in order to start our life here in the United States.
Interesting.
Yeah.
That is interesting. So, you go through that, you grow up. Where do you go to college?
I went to Illinois State University, graduated with an economics degree.
Illinois State. I know Illinois is the Illini. What is Illinois State?
It's just a state college, yeah, along with the University of Illinois.
Okay.
I ended up, obviously, we grew up in just the suburbs of Chicago, sponsored by a family through the church. And my parents, even though my dad never stayed in the military, my parents both work and was able to get six kids through college.
Well done. Well
Yeah.
done, mom and dad.
Yeah.
So when did you start your banking career?
Right out of college. So graduated from Illinois State with an economics degree.
Okay.
Was willing to take any job. And I was lucky enough to work for a company where they were focusing on mortgages. I didn't know anything about mortgages, but I learned very quickly and progressed in my career ever since.
So did you start as a loan officer? Did you start as a teller?
So I'm dating myself a little bit. So, I started out as a clerk, and so at that time, uh, dating myself, there were no computers, and I worked on a typewriter, and I was typing out the disclosures.
Okay.
And licking the envelope and mailing them out to clients. That was my first job.
Nice.
But I was super happy, just to get a job right after college. And I didn't even know what a credit report was. And I learned very quickly. And that's how I started my career.
So I am on the younger side, not a whole lot younger, but the credit score that's kind of a new development, right? Maybe the 80s or 90s.
Yep. Yeah. So when I started, and I won't say when I started, I'll just say the 90s, I guess. I was actually not only doing disclosures, but I was pulling clients' credit, right? And so at that time, the credit scores were available.
They were
available in the 90s,
Okay.
but we didn't have computers. We had typewriters, and then eventually, very quickly, I became a processor, and I remember doing everything with a pen.
Interesting.
So I learned a lot that way. Everything is automated these days, which is great. It's more efficiency, but looking back in my career, I learned a lot being have to do everything by hand.
Okay.
actually. Yeah.
Nice. So, if you can get all of your knowledge and information right now, all of your experience, and you can go back to graduating college,
hmm
would you do anything differently? What would you do?
In my career,
Yeah, career
in mortgage
choices.
finance.
Yeah,
Well, one of the things, yeah, it was one of the things that I was trying to decide my career was, um, do I want to go into business, learn the business aspect of it, or go into healthcare? And my older sister, she went into business. She's got an MBA, and she said, hey, think about going into business, And so I decided to go into business, get an economics degree, and go out into the business world and work. It was that, or I had also a passion for healthcare, whether it's being a doctor, and so I had aspirations of that. But I went down the get a business
business
degree,
degree.
and then I ended up in mortgage banking, and I never regret that. And as growing up, you know, we didn't own our own house, and so being in mortgage lending and understanding not having your own house and how that feels. My parents didn't own a house until they were in their late 40s.
Okay.
And we as kids didn't know what we didn't know. Um, but I want to carry that forward and be able to really help as many families and individuals as possible, because there's so much out there that can really help you, especially if you want to own your own home. There's a lot of things out there that can really help you that you're just not aware of, and it's our job to make sure that we're spreading the information and getting it out into the community so we can help as many families or individuals as possible to own their own home. As you know, there's a lot of pride in ownership, right?
Absolutely.
And really can help the not only the individual or families, but help the community as well continue to grow and prosper.
So, um, when it comes to lending, what are you seeing as trends when it comes to, veteran lenders?
hmm
Would you say that, all veterans that come through are using the VA home loan? Or are you saying, what does it look like on the
Yeah,
backside?
I think, and that's where you come in, Alejandro, is your knowledge within the veteran space. We find that there's a lot of VA benefits that veterans are not even aware of, right?
Absolutely.
So I think that's where you come in. And then from the lending side, is our job to make sure that we comply with the regulations when we do a VA loan, and we want to make sure that we're putting the veteran in the best situation possible.
So,
So,
I'm
so,
sorry.
so that's really important. The biggest issue I see right now, not just within the veteran community, but overall, is affordability. Right,
Okay.
everything's expensive right now. Gas,
Absolutely.
groceries, interest rates are high, right? And so affordability and the home prices keep going up, right?
Absolutely.
So all those things combined can make it very difficult to get into a house. But there are things, and I'm always thinking about how can we help the community have more people qualify for a mortgage. And so we're always looking at different down payment assistance programs where people may have struggles with being able to save for a down payment. You don't need a down payment. We actually have a 100% program that we can.
100% meaning?
100% meaning we can do 100% of the mortgage loan, so you don't need a down payment.
So if the house is 300,000, you could potentially finance the entire 300,000.
300,000, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, and so we're always looking at ways at different products that we can help. If an individual or a family member or families are ready to purchase a home, we can assist with that with all the different products that we have, and of course with partnering up with you, Alejandro, and your knowledge on the veteran space. Hopefully, we can help more and more veterans get into a house.
Absolutely. So, starting back in the 90s,
Mhm.
was there a lot of VA loans going through, or was it more, or is it about the same as today?
Um, I would say it would be about the same.
Okay.
Um, I think it's evolved, but I think there's so much more opportunity,
Okay.
right? I think part of it is just the lack of information is out there, and for you and I think it's our job is to make sure that we go out into the community, especially our veteran community, and ensure that they have all the necessary information and tools that they need to make the best decision when it comes to deciding if they want to be a homeowner or not. But I think the lack of information that's out there, I think it's really hindering the ability to do more loans for veterans.
Okay.
Yeah.
I agree with that completely.
Yeah.
So what I'm seeing is I'm seeing a lot of people don't know.
Yeah.
And, you know, it's even wild that active military don't know.
Mm.
They don't know about the VA home loan benefits. My brother-in-law, he is in the Air Force. He is an E4, and he doesn't know about the VA home loan. He doesn't know that he can purchase. Right now, he's in Abilene. Before that, he was in Albuquerque for years.
Mm.
And one thing that I didn't know was after a year, you can buy another house,
Mhm.
or if you leave, you can leave the other house and rent that property out.
Yeah.
What are your thoughts on that and the accumulation of wealth?
Yeah, that's so important, right? And again, in real estate, at least it's been good for me. You know, obviously, real estate can be very beneficial to building wealth. That's why home ownership is so critical. Because it's not only just immediate, but it can be generational wealth, right? You can pass that home and the equity in that home down to your children and continue to build, generational wealth. And so that's why it's so important to help as many people to get into a home as possible, because it just does so many things, right? Individually, for the family, generational wealth, and continue to help build up the community. It's so important, and that's why I continue to do what I do, and have been for the last 31 years.
So let's say that I'm Joe Snuffy and I get out of the military and I'm like, you know what? I want to buy a home. I watch this. I'm like, you know what? I'm going to go to Matt. So he comes to Lone Star National Bank. He applies. Does he have to ask for the $25,000, or how does that work?
No, so we know we have that program, and our job is to make sure that we help as many people get into that program as possible, because the funds are limited, right? The good news is that they will relook at it and restart that program every year. So it will be available. It's through the Federal Home Loan Bank of Dallas, of which we're members of. But the funds are limited, right? Once the funds are used up, then we're done for the year. But we'll reapply for those funds, and generally we'll get them. And so it's just an annual renewal. But when we sit down with the client, we know that that program is out there, and if you fit that program, we will put you in it, because that's free grant money of $25,000 that is available, and we want to be able to use that, right? And we want families or individuals who are ready to buy and qualify for that. We want to make sure that they get every penny of that 25,000, so we can get them help them get into a home that's affordable.
Now, I know every situation is different, and I don't want to get too much into detail, but is it possible to get the 100% financing in tandem with the 25, or are they two totally different programs?
They're two different programs.
Okay.
I think if you look at the 25,000, it is pretty much almost. What's great about the program is the only investment you need is $500.
Okay.
And the rest can be financed or through the grant, can lower your mortgage payment, because you don't need as much a big as a loan amount that you would normally require without that 25,000. And so that program is almost 100%. The only investment that we ask is the $500, and of course there's a retention period, right? There's some deed restrictions, so you can't just buy it or purchase the home and then sell it, right? So there's limits on that, but the whole idea is to get families who normally wouldn't be able to get into a home get into it.
It's to help those in need.
Yes.
Nice.
Yeah.
No, that's amazing. That is a very great program, and I will tell you, being from a realtor side and something that you probably know, we're in a buyer's market. So this is more for you listeners out there. Being in a buyer's market means that you have the ability to ask for more things that genuinely you wouldn't get. So whenever Matt talks about $500 needing, you can potentially use that as the earnest money. Sellers aren't in the position anymore where they need $3,000, $5,000 for earnest money. There's not enough buyers, so we get those buyers in the market, and then you can put that $500 in earnest money, and so that would suffice for the
program.
For
Yeah,
the program?
Yeah, literally $500 is all we ask. Of course, there are different requirements as far as income and so forth. But if you qualify, the only investment is $500, and the rest can be used towards down payment or closing costs. And we can actually, if there's excess money, we can actually use that money towards buying down to a lower interest rate.
Really?
So, yeah, there's a lot of different benefits. So that buying down the interest rate qualifies for that program.
Okay.
And so what we want to do is maximize the full 25,000 for our clients.
Okay. So let's say that we are a regular person. We're not, veteran. We're just, a regular guy off the street. What I hear and what I see is, oh, I need this, I need
Mhm.
this, I need this, I need my ducks in a row before I apply. What would you say to that?
Yeah, I mean, it's really important to understand the mortgage process. But purchasing a home can be very stressful, right? It's probably one of your largest,
Probably the
the
largest.
largest acquisition in your lifetime. And so the part of the process can be very complicated. And so you want to probably sit down with one of our advisors and we'll walk you through it to understand what are the requirements, so that we can make that a smooth transaction for you, right?
So would you say that you would need everything in line, or do you think you should go to, your officers first so they can tell me what I need?
Yeah, no, I think I would recommend going to our because as you mentioned earlier, every situation is different,
Yes,
right?
sir.
And so it's important to sit down with our mortgage loan officers to really sit down and look at your situation, and we can tell you, hey, great, you're ready for that purchase, or hey, we'll need certain things before we can move forward. But let us be the expert. Let us guide you, whether it's now or near down the road. We will let you know exactly what you need in order to qualify for that program. Now, the $25,000 assistance program, it's for first time home buyers, obviously.
Hmm.
And if you're a single parent, you also qualify, and so it eliminates the first time home buyer requirements,
Hmm.
because if those have made purchased a home in the past, it's okay because it waives the first time home buyers requirement because you're a single parent. And so you still would have to normally qualify based on certain criteria such as income and so forth, without going into too much detail. But if you're a single parent, it eliminates the requirement to be a first-time home buyer. So that is also a great part of that program.
Okay, so our previous person we had on, George Sanchez, he was telling us that right now the biggest market for home buyers appears to be single women. There may be mothers,
Mm-hmm.
that there are women that are coming out and they're no longer waiting for a man to buy it, and they're going out and they're purchasing.
Mm-hmm.
It sounds like this could fall in line with that. Is that
Yeah,
correct?
that's absolutely correct. If you're a single parent, even if you purchased a home before, this program, the $25,000 Home Buyers Assistance Program, it's called HELP, um, and it waives the requirement to be a first-time home buyer. So if you're a single parent, you purchased a home before,
Hmm.
you do not need to be a first-time home buyer. You qualify for that from that perspective for that program. As I mentioned, you have to normally qualify for any mortgage product, uh, like you normally would apply for a mortgage, but it just eliminates the requirement to be a first-time home buyer if you're a single parent.
Okay, and then not just for single moms, single dads can do it too.
Hmm.
Correct.
Yes.
And
Yep.
since single dads, you're out there. I
Single
know it.
single parent.
So yeah, single parent, single
Yeah.
parent. No, that is good to know.
Yeah.
I did have another question about that. But no, that is really good information. So, what advice would you give to the younger generation that wants to go? Because I know whenever I'm in San Antonio, I'm driving around.
Mhm.
There are so many apartment complexes going up, and every apartment complex has full parking lots.
Yeah.
So, do you think that the average American can buy? Do you think that they should buy?
Yeah, I think, well, first of all, I 100% agree with you. They should buy,
Okay.
right? Because you want to start building your generational wealth soon as you can, right? Purchasing a home builds equity. Every year, homes have proven to appreciate, right? A certain percentage every year. You're making payments towards that, so it's not going to someone else's pocket. You're actually making payments towards equity,
So
gaining
just
equity into a home.
just in case we have younger people that don't know, what is equity?
Equity is, so let's say the home is worth 300,000 and you lend or you get a loan for 250,000, and so 50,000 is actually the equity in your house. As you make mortgage payments towards your home, that that balance goes down, and as when that balance goes down, that's how much more equity you have in your house. And so what that means is, so let's say years down the road, your home is worth 300,000. As the house appreciates and as your mortgage payment balance goes down, let's say your home is now worth 500,000, but your mortgage balance is 200,000. Well, you have 300,000 of equity in your home. That's actual real money that when you sell your house for 500,000, that 300,000 is going into your pocket, right? Or if you continue to lower your mortgage payment, that's equity in your house. That's building wealth,
Okay.
for you and
So
your family.
so people, everybody's struggling. You said it earlier. If we're struggling and we have owned a house for 10 years and we have equity, is that equity accessible? Is that cash accessible? Can
It
I get
it is
access to that
it
money?
is very accessible. One of the great products that we have um, is in it, and I know a lot of, I think 80% of the families in the United States refinanced their home when interest rates were in the
The-
3% or a
yeah.
little bit lower than 3%. And, I'm not sure if we'll ever see that again. Hopefully we will, but I don't know. But we have programs where you don't have to refinance your first mortgage. We can do a second mortgage and not have to touch that low interest rate first mortgage,
Hmm.
and you have access to that equity in your house.
Okay.
And so if you want to get cash out for a rainy day, or you want to make a big purchase, that equity is there and is available. We can help you with that.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So similar to having your own bank,
Sure.
not identical,
Yeah, not a
but
deco.
something.
Yeah, you can leave that money there, or look to spend it, but you can have that equity, that money from that house without having to touch that low interest rate first mortgage.
Okay.
Is
So
that babe?
um, in your position, do you still oversee loans? Do you still get involved?
I do. We have a great team. We pride in ourselves to delivering great service. Last month, our average turn time was 24.7 days, which we're very proud of.
That is a very good feat. I
Yeah,
know on real estate side, it's not uncommon to see above 30.
yeah, yeah. It's never not uncommon. So, but we really pride ourselves in delivering great service for our clients. So we understand the importance of closing a loan very quickly for not only our clients but the partners that we work with. So we understand that's very important. But we also have other great services within our banking institution that we can help with. So we have our own insurance company. We can help our clients save a lot of money when it comes to purchasing homeowners insurance, for example. So we have so many great. We have wealth management. We have our retail bank. We have so many great services. We pride ourselves in being the one-stop shop for your financial needs. And so, even though I'm in mortgages, we have great services that we can offer our clients as we help them through their financial journey.
So you know me a little bit, and Cameron, you will learn me too. I have a lot of VA home loan seminars. I
Mhm,
have a lot of surviving spouse events,
mhm.
and one thing I hear from the surviving spouses a lot is, and a surviving spouse is a spouse of a service member that has passed away.
Right.
So generally speaking, a lot of them are Vietnam era.
Yes.
So their husband had 100% disability, and then he passed away because of the disabilities.
Mm.
And what they're asking for often is they want to hide. They're not necessarily hide, but they don't want the tax man to get all of their assets.
Sure.
They want to pass them over to their kids, and they want to make sure that their kids receive the most.
Hmm.
Can y'all help with that? How does that look like?
Yeah, absolutely. We have a great wealth management team. And what they can do is sit down with the client and really look at what's based on each individual's financial situation, really look at what's best for them from that perspective, right? There are a lot of benefits that most people probably are not aware of that they can apply for, or figure out how they want to handle their finances. And so there's a lot of different things within our wealth management group that can assist with that. So I would recommend sitting down with our wealth management group and look at those different benefits that are available, just like the VA benefits that can assist with maximizing your opportunity from a financial perspective.
Nice. No, that's super
Yeah.
interesting. Um, Seeing the backside of the loans, what is the biggest issue you see in modern America?
Well, right now, from a lending perspective, obviously, and I think everybody knows this, affordability is the number one issue. And so how can we help make it more affordable, right?
So
Um,
would it be just a lack of income on their side? Would it be just prices aren't prices are leaving behind how much we're making? What are you saying?
Yeah, I think we see some really over the last, I would say, 5 years, some acceleration in home values, which is great, right? If you own a home, but for those who hasn't owned a home and are looking to purchase a home, values have gone. It really has skyrocketed. And I'm not so sure if income is following with the appreciation of home values, right? With the way the economy is right now, with everything so expensive,
Mm-hmm.
it makes it very difficult to purchase a home, or can make it difficult to purchase a home. What I would say is that don't count yourself out. I think there's a lot of programs out there that folks are not familiar with that can get them into a home.
Mm-hmm.
And so we want to be able to assist with that. So, I would say come and sit down with us. It's the consultation and the meeting is free, right? We don't charge for that, but we want to help guide you. If we can help you get into a home, we will. If we can't, we're going to work with you and see where we can get you in the future, get yourself into a home if that's what you desire. So I would say a lot of folks think they can't get into a home. Like,
I
oh,
see a lot of
I
that.
don't have enough money to put down payment. No, that's not true. There are programs out there that you don't even, we have 100% financing. You don't even need a down payment. Very little investment to get into a home. So the sooner you can get into a home, I think the quicker you can start building your generational wealth.
Okay, so question. Now let's say that we tomorrow voted Matt in as president. President Matt,
Okay.
what would you do to encourage a higher income? Do you think it can be legislated? Do you think it needs to be, come from an entrepreneurial side?
Well,
How?
you're asking
Yeah, let's have some fun.
you're asking a tough question and no one's been able to solve, right?
I understand it's not solvable, but I mean, what do you think? How can we help Americans? How do we get the income where it needs to be?
Um, wow, that's a pretty deep question. I can go in so many different
I'm a deep
ways.
guy.
um, but let's go back to the baseline education,
Okay.
right? We can talk a long time, but I think that's a huge part of it is ensuring that we as a uh, economy as a community ensure that we're getting everybody the education that they need to thrive and prosper, right? And so there's so many things we can
Yes.
go into, but I think that's important, right? My parents, coming from a different country, not knowing one lick of English. My brother was 2 weeks old. I was 4 years old. 6 kids. My parents sacrificed, like my dad sacrificed when he was serving in the war. They really sacrificed to ensure that our kids got the education they need in order to build their future. And I think that's really important. And so, how do we help continue help our society, ensure that kids are getting the education that they need? And so, I'll leave it at that. Right? There's so many different things when it comes to that, but I think that piece is important. And then we definitely have to take a look at where the economy is at, where the cost is at, and are the salaries where they need to be to live, not to live comfortable, right?
I agree with you 1,000,000%.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, so one thing that I find funny is there's even this is the second show that I've done. There's already so much commonality between this one and the previous one. One thing that George spoke about was if you have an easy time at the beginning, your later in your life is going to be more difficult, and vice versa. If you make it challenging up front, it'll be easier. And one thing that I tell my daughters all the time is, I don't care what kind of doctor you're going to be. I don't. You can be any type of doctor in the world. You will be a doctor, and it's that mindset that grinding your teeth. Yes, it's not fun. Yes, it's not all rainbows and sunshine, but that higher education, the physicians that I know, they can turn around and they can go and get $100,000 signing bonus, and they can make $70,000 a month, if they're the right specialty, and it's such a game changer. I agree with you 1,000,000%. We need to figure out um, how to motivate our young. We need to talk to our kids and ensure our kids go out there, and we need to start at the foundation of a society, and the foundation is children.
Yeah. Yeah, I 100% agree with that. Without having to go into a long discussion and debate. But I think that's, you start at the foundation. I think that's going to be really important. And that gives, to me, that gives everybody the opportunity that they need. And obviously, each individual has to have their own motivation as well too. But just make sure that we afford them that opportunity, and then I think we'll be in a better place.
Nice. No, I love that. I love that, and I think you're 100% correct. And I'm always trying to motivate my children and trying to
Yeah.
keep things going. But more about Matt. What do you like? What are your hobbies?
Well, I mean, I was a big tennis player for a long time,
Okay.
and
How about pickleball?
no, so as you grow older, your eyesight gets bad. At least for me,
I'm blind. I get you.
I had to hang up my cleats. I couldn't play tennis anymore because I was in a USTA tournament, and
I have no idea what it is.
that it's kind of like a USTA is pretty. It's a sanctioned type of organization for tennis players.
Nice.
Uh,
That's grit.
yes, and found out I tore my rotator.
Oh.
Yeah, so it was either surgery and keep playing tennis, or no surgery and hang up your cleats, right? So I decided to hang up my cleats.
I'm sorry about
So,
that.
but no, so I love playing tennis. I'm on old soul, so I like stuff from the 50s and 60s. Uh,
So you say stuff is 50s and 60s. What stuff?
Furniture,
Really?
mid-century modern.
Okay.
Yeah, so big into mid-century modern. I
Interesting.
just like that era. It's just simple. Keep things simple.
So housewise, is that like craftsman?
No, Craftsman is a little bit more specific. It's really a lot of teak wood. Um, if you ever see the furniture built from the 50s and 60s and all the designers back
Hmm.
then, amazing, right? Amazing design, very simple but very useful. If you walk into my house, you would have thought you were living in the
In
50s.
the
And
50s.
yeah,
So do you like Cracker Barrel?
I do. Yeah, I haven't been there in a long time.
That just reminds me of the decor.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Not that old.
Not that old.
Yeah. But really neat design, and just great.
Johnny Rockets.
Yeah, great designers back in the day. Like so many different designers of furniture.
Do you have your other stuff like a 55 Bel Air or a
55.
Cadillac?
No, I have some older cars, but not
What do
not
you
the
got?
Bel Air. What's that?
What do you got?
An old Bronco.
Nice.
Yeah, from the 70s.
Nice.
Yeah, not running. So,
Just push
but
it.
yeah, and
Are you gonna do a resto mod?
no, I just don't have time. I'm probably gonna sell it.
Aw.
Yeah,
We love ourselves some toys.
yeah,
You don't want to go drop in what's that? The Godzilla 427?
yeah, yeah.
Big
So
old Ford.
yeah, no,
No?
no, yeah. Got to pass the white first. Got the
They don't like toys, do they?
no, no. They don't like toys.
So your wife, does she like collecting the 50s stuff?
Yeah, she does. So that's one commonality. So that's
Was
awesome.
that something that y'all built, or did y'all both already like it?
I think we are both already liked it. And
That's
so
adorable. That's awesome.
yeah, and so we're the same age. We're Gen Xers, and we grew up in the same era, and so it just makes things pretty good from a relationship perspective.
So what is your favorite thing from the 50s that you have?
Oh my goodness. Um, my favorite
Your
thing.
favorite thing.
I guess I found this lamp. It's a it's a uh, it's a stainless steel eyeball lamp that I got super cheap and found out is super rare.
Interesting.
Yeah, it's a marble base with this stainless steel lamp. Very famous designer. I didn't know it was a famous designer, and turned out to be a super expensive item that I got for really, really cheap, pennies on the dollar.
That's awesome.
Yeah, so that's cool, you know. And
Talk about wealth. That's great.
yeah, yeah.
What is your favorite thing that you don't have?
That I don't. There's a lot of things that I like that I don't have. I don't know. I think I have. You know, I'm not into material things, but um, you know, so I think I have all that I want. You know, I have my wife, my daughter, and my family. So it's it's that to me is what's valuable to me.
That's good. I agree with you. I love my kids. I love my wife. But I wouldn't mind a vet. I wouldn't mind a
Okay,
vet.
don't
Get
mind that.
a Z06 or something.
Yeah,
I like me some toys. I got a 2022 Broncos. It is
yeah.
the manual transmission with the crawl.
Okay.
I love rolling gears. It is. I like it, but I miss a good V8.
Yeah. So growing up, my parents had, and this is kind of crazy, but
I like crazy.
yeah.
I like fun stuff.
So they had an '86 Honda Accord LXI two-door coupe hatchback.
Nice.
So
Very
for
specific.
some reason, why growing up and having the things we didn't have much growing, but the things that we had we cherished, right? And so I have this affinity for hatchbacks now because of growing up. We had a two-door coupe hatchback, and the Honda Accord. Those things last forever.
They do.
And so I actually like those old Hondas hatchbacks.
Interesting.
Yeah,
Nice. I don't mind them.
yeah,
I
yeah,
like anything built with passion.
yeah,
If somebody built it for fun, I
yeah,
like fun.
yeah. And then obviously our first car that we ever owned, it was donated to my parents. It was a 1976 forest green two-door coupe Ford Maverick.
Nice.
Yeah. And so if you can imagine
Everybody
two
coming in
parents, two, you got the what do they call those
the bench.
the bench seats,
Yep.
the front bench seats in the back. We fit 8 people in that car,
Making it work.
making it work.
That is not a thing anymore.
Making it work.
Making it work.
Two-door coupe with 2 parents and 6 kids in a '76 Ford Maverick. For years,
For years.
we made it work.
Made it work.
Making it work.
My first car, I rebuilt with my dad. It was a 1979 Firebird Trans Am.
Hmm.
But it didn't have the Oldsmobile 403. It had a Chevrolet 400 small block.
Yeah,
That thing was fun.
nice.
I love
Nice.
cars.
Yeah. And so we upgraded from a '76 Maverick to a 76 Maverick to a 1980. No, it was '70s, or was it '80s? I think it was an '85 Ford Torino wagon.
Nice.
So we had a name for it, the Dragon Wagon.
I like it. I like it.
And the 3 boys was always in the back. How these days they don't allow that. It's illegal.
That is very correct.
Right. Back in the day, we were playing in the back, had all kinds of room. We loved it. Didn't have a care in the world. Nobody wore seatbelts back then. Rolling around while my dad was driving. So it was pretty cool. I miss those days.
So a question, if your parents ever spoke about it, the United States is huge,
Hmm.
and especially in Texas, you need a car to get around. Was it similar for your family in Vietnam? Did they travel a lot? Did you need a car?
So in Vietnam, it was all about the Hondas, the mopeds.
Okay.
So we had
Okay.
yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, so that's what a lot of people used to travel around. So
Nice.
no, it's totally different. Most people travel around in those Honda mopeds. We had one.
Nice.
Yeah, I actually have a picture of it.
Do you ever go back?
I have not gone back.
No?
Yeah, the plan is to go back.
Do you want to?
Yes, definitely.
Did you still got family over there? Or anything?
No, we don't. My brother, who's an engineer, went back for work to Vietnam, and he actually ended up. Our house is still in existence, and so he went to see the house. So I would love to see our house again.
So question. I know if you are a foreign national, you can buy United States property. Can you, as a foreign national now, can you buy Vietnamese? If you wanted to, could you go buy that house?
Yeah, Yeah, we could. I mean, I looked into it.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I did look into it one time, but yeah, now being a U.S. citizen, there are ways to purchase homes in Vietnam,
Hmm.
but never really thought about it.
Never executed.
Yeah, but yeah, you can if
Are
you
you
wanted to.
dual or are you solely
No,
U.S.?
not dual at all. Became a U.S. citizen when I was in the seventh grade.
How did it feel?
Good,
Did it?
good. Yeah, I mean, we have to go through testing and everything. My parents had to go through testing. We actually had to test as well too.
Really?
Back in,
At seventh grade? That's
yeah,
crazy. I would have guessed that,
yeah,
you had to be an adult
yeah.
to
Well,
test.
I remember going, and I'm sorry, you might be right. I remember going to the federal building to
Okay.
get fingerprint and all that jazz.
Interesting.
Yeah, but yeah, my parents had to test.
Nice.
Yeah.
So are you loving it? Are you glad to be here in
Yeah,
US of A?
yeah. I think one of the things I always think about is where would I have been if I didn't move to United or escape to the United States. So it's kind of weird, how things happen, right? You always sit there and wonder if we didn't have the opportunity to leave Vietnam. Not sure, you know.
So a question that may kind of hit home. We pulled out of Afghanistan
Hmm.
very recently. I was stationed in Afghanistan. I was at a place called Muslimgar. I was at a fire base that we built, fire base patrol base pacemaker.
Hmm.
I was at Kandahar Airfield, and whenever the Taliban took over, Massimgar is a very interesting place. Before we took it over, it was Canadian Special Forces. So on the side of the mountain, you see a big old Canadian flag. It was really cool. And our battalion took it over, our brigade took it over. I spent time there
Hmm.
kind of moving information and helping my unit, and then seeing the Taliban crawling all over it. Seeing it, it was
Hmm.
it was a very it wasn't a good feeling.
Yeah.
It was a very interesting situation. And then you saw the families trying to hold on to the C-17s as they flew away. Very, very disturbing, very graphic. Did it bring anything back up in your family? Did y'all discuss it? Kind of what was it like seeing that happen again?
Yeah. Yeah. Good question, right? I don't know if it's commonplace when you have families that served in the military, but even my dad passed away about 2.5 years ago now,
I'm sorry.
but thank you. He never talked about it, as a family. He never really talked about what he went through when he served, very little. Just through pictures and just through my mom, what she knows. But my dad was very introverted, and so he never really talked about it. I don't know if that's commonplace or not. But for me, I'm kind of a little history buff, so I'm always asking, trying to probe it to ask this and that about it. But one of the things that really opened my eyes was that documentary,
Okay.
Last Days in Vietnam. It really shed a lot of light into what my dad and our family went through. A lot of great footage, just some amazing footage of just people what they were doing, trying to leave because of the potential consequences that we knew, and so it was a very good documentary, and it really helped me educate me more about what happened. You know,
Have you, sorry, have you looked at any of, so there's an old Army Special Forces guy, his name is Tim Kennedy, and he was there. He wasn't there as an active duty soldier. He got hired and he flew to help fly the similar, families that assisted the United States. Have you heard those stories? Have you looked into it any to kind of, just look for parallels or anything?
no, I have not, but wouldn't mind doing that.
I'll send there's one where he had a good conversation, I believe it was with Joe Rogan, and he goes into depth about what it was like, and it's wild, and it's crazy that it happened twice. This is I don't know. I have a lot of strong feelings, and I don't know. It's just really bad. It's really bad situations, and as a country, what are you supposed to do? Should you just stand by and let atrocities happen? And whenever you step in, how much responsibility are you willing to take on as a country?
Yeah.
And those are very, very difficult situations.
Yeah, they're tough uh, situations and decisions that you have to make, right? But um, you know, that was a that was just a crazy time.
It was a crazy
Yeah,
time.
yeah, for a long time.
So, what would you say to any young, Afghanis here living here in the United States, in a similar situation? What would you
Yeah.
tell them?
Um, in spite of what you go through in your life, um, there are opportunities to make it better. We grew up poor, but we had, um, but my parents' core foundation to make sure that their kids live in a better place than they did, right? And so their focus was 100% on the kids and ensuring that we had the education to better ourselves. And it was up to us to put in the effort to do so. And I think the one thing I would say that I'm very proud of is that my parents they were able to put 6 kids through college, all graduated and doing well. And so that's what I would say is that even though it might be you may feel like you're down and out, you're never down and out. There's always opportunity. You just got to find it and pick yourself back up and because we did, we were in a tough situation, but we never. Uh, I guess we never really thought about it. We just did it.
Did it?
We just did it. We were faced with the situation, and we just dealt with that situation and continued to improve. And so we never gave up. Right? We
Hmm.
went through tough times, and then we had some really good times and great memories. And you know, um, so don't ever think that you're down and out. And there's a lot of help in the community, and we're part of that. We want to be able to help. We want to be able to get more and more families into a house. At least for me, that's my passion.
Absolutely.
I've been doing that 31 years, and I will continue to do that as long as I can, because it's important to me.
So you've been doing it for 31 years. How long have you been at Lone Star National Bank?
I've been here a little over 2 years, 2 years and 3 months.
So have you been in the same role your time here?
Yes.
And were you doing that role prior to
Yes. Yeah. So I was in mortgage banking for my whole entire career at different levels, right?
Mhm.
I started my career at,
The clerk?
I was a clerk, licking envelopes. But, with that passion of housing, um, and being able to help is whether it's in healthcare or in banking, or helping people. And that's what drives me every day.
So being in a similar role, your dad passed away, I guess, right before you probably moved over to Lone Star National
Yes.
Bank. And your brother being an engineer, your sister being in business. How did your dad say anything? I know you said he was introverted. Did he ever let y'all know that he was proud? Did he ever show that? Because y'all are in amazing positions.
Yeah.
You are in an amazing position, and it sounds like your siblings are doing just as well. What do you think it feels? It felt like him. Did he say anything? Or what is your
I think
thought?
I think my dad, without saying it, said it. Yeah, you can see the look in his eyes and how proud he was of us. But he was never a man of words, very introverted. And being in the military and just how he was raised, very introverted. And so he didn't say a whole lot. But you can tell through his expressions and his eyes that he was proud of us and what we were able to accomplish. So I know that for a fact.
That's amazing. That is
Yeah.
an amazing story. That is awesome to see that level of success after such an imaginable situation.
Well, I think we were lucky, right? Not I mean, you know what happened, and so we were one of the lucky ones. So, and we don't ever forget that.
That's amazing. That's amazing. That is a great testimony, and I think that the best thing about it is it shows people can do it. You can go out there and despite your situation, despite what's going on, you can go out and make something of yourself, and that is absolutely awesome. I was very fortunate. I'm not a refugee. My parents, well, okay, so both of my on my mom's side and my dad's side, they did come from the Mexico, the United States. I don't know about my grandpa's side, but I know my mom's side was illegal. My grandfather Lauro, he let me know that he fled Mexico, and I want to say fled. He wanted to give us opportunities.
Yeah,
So it is a totally different. But I look at both sides, and both of them came from nothing.
yeah.
So I'm doing everything I can to kind of
That's,
further that.
I mean, that's amazing. And I think when you're faced with those challenges, people will tend to rise up, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah. And I'm sure I'm not the only story, right? There's probably millions of those types of stories. Um, I just never told my story. I didn't need to. I just
Yes.
did what I needed to do and focus in the work that I want to do here at Lone Star National Bank. We have a great opportunity to help people, and in every aspect of their financial journey. And I'm just a small part of it. We have great people here at the bank, and we're a community bank. Um, we're here to help. We want to help as many people as possible. And you know, I kind of opened up. I mean, really, I'll be honest with you. I haven't really told my story to anybody.
Really
Yeah,
nice. So we got an exclusive. Nice.
yeah. And so, but I want also, hopefully, this can motivate folks. Um, because there are opportunities out there, and never give up. In spite of all the challenges that my family went through, and I have two nurses in my family, another sister that's got her MBA
Okay,
in business, one of my brothers an engineer, and my other brother is a graphic designer. So
that's amazing.
yeah.
You have an amazing family. I see these amazing packages. What's going on with them?
Well, one of the things to us, it's really important that when we want to celebrate our clients, and so when we close a mortgage loan, we want to recognize our clients for achieving to getting a mortgage. It's really important. As I spoke previously, that's a huge decision that you're making in your life, and we want to, and since we're a part of that, we want to make sure that we recognize our clients, like just giving them just a nice little gift
So I'll
for
get one when
closing.
I buy.
That's right. You'll get one.
Nice.
You'll get one.
Oh,
We
yeah.
might throw in a Cowboy Cash doll or pen. I know you're a
I love Cowboy
big
Cash.
fan of Cowboy
I love these.
Cash.
I'll post a picture so y'all can see Cowboy Cash in
He,
all of his glory.
he's an icon
He is an
here.
icon.
He's an icon.
He's going to be known worldwide here pretty soon. I love me some Cowboy Cash.
Yeah, but no, I mean, Alejandro, we appreciate the partnership. We appreciate your work in the veteran community. We want to be a part of that journey. As you know, I have a military background as well too, and so whatever we can do to help and to help our community, we're there for them.
One team, one fight. No,
Yeah,
absolutely. Thank you for allowing this to happen. And this is an amazing facility. But this is not a branch. This is the
corporate
administrative
headquarters.
branch.
Yeah,
Correct.
yeah.
So the closest branch here would probably be Huebner
Huebner or medical. Hi, Huebner.
I was even thinking the one on 281. What's the
Oh,
one? Stone
Stone
Oak.
Oak. Stone Oak.
Yeah.
Yeah, Stone Oak. Right down here.
Yeah, right down the road, right down the road.
Yeah.
So come say hi. Come check out their they have great products. I can't speak enough that they are supporting the veterans initiatives. We have a surviving spouse event coming up.
Yes.
We have a VA home loan seminar coming up,
Hmm.
and that's just the beginning.
All right.
So we're going to be doing so much more, and we're here to help. So I do consult, and I will tell you, they even give me a place to consult with veterans on their human location. So I am currently meeting veterans, helping them apply. And I'm not just about VA disabilities. I can also assist getting you in contact with an education counselor that can get you on vocational rehab, that can get you your GI bill. If you're 100%, I can help your family use their dependent education assistance, meaning that your wife and your children can get paid to go to college. The whole scope of benefits, I do consult, I do help. Mine is free of charge. I do not charge a penny for anybody. All I ask is whenever you're doing in a better position, think of us, and we would love to help you any way we can. So No, again, Matt, thank you.
No, thank you very much.
Thank you for allowing us to host in this amazing facility. And by all means, please like, share, comment. If you know a veteran, if you yourself are a veteran, you want some consultation, need some help, by all means, reach out. If you want one of the great products or you want to buy a property, help reach out to me. Reach out to the fine people at Lone Star National Bank, and let's make sure that your family is secure because ultimately that's what it's